quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree.
Under a mango tree, an elder leans forward and says, softly but firmly, "A mango tree remembers every hand that rested on it." The market hum sits just behind his words, soft chatter, a bicycle bell, the rhythm of a river in the distance, warm welcome, and a single sentence that holds a village's sense of care.
Hello, I'm Samnong Bradley, where history meets hospitality. Today, Proverb Keepers. I'll sit with 3 people who steward Khmer sayings: an elder who settles disputes with a proverb, a primary school teacher who sings short aphorisms into students' ears, and a young content creator testing 2-line clips on a noisy phone screen. Together, we'll see how tiny sayings teach long lessons, and why those lessons matter now.
First, a little context. Proverbs in Khmer are compact moral maps, short, often image-filled phrases that point to behavior, memory, or a warning. Common metaphors you'll hear today are water, rice, the palm tree, the mango. They travel by mouth, by family, and by the small rituals of daily life. Some are public, others belong to a household and are not to be shared. We note that in our show notes, we cite linguistic sources, and I verified translations with local elders. If you hear a proverb that feels intimate, that may be because it is.
The layers matter. A proverb's surface image, say a river, can be practical, poetic, or cautionary. From a cultural standpoint, proverbs encode relationships: how to speak to an elder, how to restore harmony, where to place humility. Today, I'll add a little on method when we hit the classroom and the linguistics later, so listen for cadence and call and response.
Let me take you to the elder's compound. The courtyard's concrete is warmed by the sun. Chickens argue over rice husks. I sit on a low bench while Aunt Lek, she's in her 70s, arranges a cigarette wrapper and folds her hands. She uses proverbs as a kind of social glue, calling them when neighbors bicker over water or a borrowed tool. I ask her, "How do you choose which line to say?" She smiles and pats the bench, then says in Khmer, a proverb that I translate as, "Words water the field before the seed is sown," meaning speak first to prepare the heart. She told a short story. 2 brothers argued about a boundary. Instead of shouting, Aunt Lek called each, sat them beneath the palm, and told a proverb about the palm's patient roots. The brothers laughed. They remembered their father's rule. The proverb didn't name blame. It opened memory, and shame softened into repair. That is the elder's work. Words that point, but do not condemn.
What this reveals is the proverb as tool, not just a saying, but a practice. It mediates, teaches, and reminds. The elder acts like a living index of local phrases and when to use them. Also worth noting, all of these examples were recorded with the elder's consent, and translations were reviewed together. That matters when short lines cross language borders.
Next stop, a primary school, where call and response is part of how children learn moral vocabulary. The teacher, Miss Dara, starts the day with a proverb, and the class replies back in a rhythm, short, sharp, musical. She says a line about rice and sharing. The children repeat, then clap their hands and say it again. The pattern helps memory. I stood at the door, notebook closed, because the school asked for and we received guardian release for the recording. What you hear now is the cadence of learning. No names, just the voice of a class learning to carry a community phrase.
For example, the teacher intones, "Give rice with both hands," and the class replies, "So no one goes hungry." The proverb is simple, but it teaches reciprocity in a child's poetic grammar. Later, Miss Dara told me she uses these short lines to open conversation about kindness. A proverb becomes a doorway for questions. Why share? And the children practice answers in safe ways.
Let me contextualize. From an educational perspective, short forms like proverbs function like mnemonic devices. The teacher pairs movement, call and response, and story, so the phrase is embodied. It's low-tech, high-impact pedagogy, especially in communities where formal materials are scarce, but oral knowledge is rich.
Now, pause with me. Listen to the market bell, the rustle of mango leaves, the school bell folding into a child's laughter, the layered sounds of place. These are the seams where proverbs travel, between vendors, classrooms, compounds. Hold that in your mind for a moment. From the mango tree to the screen, I met Srey, a 23-year-old content creator who edits 2-line proverb clips for a fast social feed. She told me, candidly, that some sayings do well online, short, visual metaphors, and others fall flat. She taps the phone with the same rhythm as a teacher's clap, but adapts tone. Sometimes she adds humor, sometimes a slow close-up on hands grinding rice. She worries, when does a proverb become a meme and lose its relational context?
This is significant because digital circulation changes how authority is carried. Online, a proverb can be divorced from who taught it, the elder, the aunt, the classroom. Srey told us she always asks permission before filming an elder's line, and when an aphorism is flagged as family held, she won't post it. That choice preserves boundaries and respects consent.
Srey said something I loved. Some things are like rice, meant to be shared, but not everyone gives the same grain. She laughs, nervous, and then practices a 2-line clip, a quick Khmer line, then she translates for viewers. Careful, modern, kind. She edits to include a caption asking, "Who taught this to you?" which invites conversation rather than claiming ownership.
The scholarly perspective reveals limits in translation. Proverbs compress cultural assumptions. What seems obvious locally requires explanation elsewhere. A linguist I spoke with cautioned against word-for-word translations and recommended including context notes. Who says it, when, and what gestures accompany it. That makes translation more ethical and intelligible.
So what do we take away? Here are a few practical tips if you encounter Khmer proverbs in the field. Ask before quoting, especially if a phrase came from a private family context. Seek an explanation of meaning and usage instead of assuming literal equivalence. Avoid posting identifying videos of minors with written guardian consent. And if you want to help, support local language and education projects that preserve both the words and the ways they are taught.
Also consider this. When in doubt, ask the keeper. Elders, teachers, and creators will often tell you when a proverb is public and when it is not. Listen to what this means and honor that meaning if you share it later.
Before we close, proverbs are small vessels for big things: memory, care, social rules, and sometimes humor. They stitch communities together in ways a long lecture cannot. Today, we heard an elder stitch harmony, a teacher stitch habit, and a young creator stitch new threads, always with attention to consent and context. If you enjoyed this episode and want more of these quiet, everyday stories from Cambodia, subscribe to Ancient Echoes. Find full transcripts, source notes, and a vetted list of community language programs in the episode notes. Share this episode with someone who loves language or who is curious about how small sayings carry a culture. Thank you to the elders, teachers, and creators who opened their words to us. Thank you for the mango trees, the classroom claps, the late-night edits. Quiet stones, loud stories.
Oh, shining diamond, flawless and rare, you stand so quiet, soft in the air. I dared not rush, you feared you'd flee. Your heart too pure to belong to me. If you turn away, I reach and bind, press my hand, still body and mind. Your brows I trace, your breath I steal. This mark I place is dark and real. From this moment break and fall, hear the spell, obey the call. False love born from sacred lies, second one whispers through closed eyes. Follow me, don't fight, don't run, your soul is caught, my work is done. Empty will your light undone, under spell, under Sigmund. Crystal beauty, diamond bright, caught between shadow, charm and night. Time won't save you, truth won't last. This vow is carved, the line is cast. My words are smoke, my touch is fire. I bend your heart to dark desire.